This is the Gita class, chapter 5, sloka 8 and 9. Let's play the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savabhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vikishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sandhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So chapter 5 Karma Sannyasa Yoga 8 and 9 slokas together. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्। Again. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्। Third time. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्। Synonyms: Na, never, eva, certainly, kinchit, anything, karomi, I do, iti, thus, yuktaha, engaged in the divine consciousness, manyate, thinks, tattvavet, one who knows the truth, pashyan, seeing, shunvan, hearing, sprishan, touching, jigran, smelling, ashnan, eating, gachan, going, swapan, dreaming, swashan, swasan, shwasan, breathing, pralapan, talking, visrajan, giving up, grahnan, accepting, unmishan, opening, nimishan, closing, api, in spite of, indriyani, the senses, indriyartheshu, in the sense gratification, vartante, let them be so engaged, iti, thus, dharayan, considering. Translation by the Srila Prabhupada. A person in the divine consciousness, this is a very important thing, a person in the divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all, because while speaking, evacuating, receiving or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof from them. So the two key important words here is yukta and then tattvavit. Okay, so tattvavit means one who knows the truth. Yukta means divine consciousness. Yuktaha. So this is basically again the person who reaches the full Krishna consciousness, bhakti yogi or jnana yogi, divine consciousness basically. So tattvavit, one who knows in truth that he is not the body, he is the soul. So the characteristics of soul is sakshi. Always the soul does nothing. Like it's only the prakriti is doing this. Like a prakriti kriyamanani ahankara iti manyate. So everything is done by the prakriti. Ahankari thinks that he is doing it, but in reality the prakriti is doing it. So this small switch is the bondage to the matter. So when I think I am doing it, that means I am bound up. When I think I am not doing it, then I am not bound up. That is a simple formula. So to achieve that, it takes time. So then a person in the Krishna consciousness, that means either he is a Jnana Yogi or Bhakti Yogi here, because this version of the Gita is totally Bhakti Yoga. So that's why we always say Krishna consciousness. That means your consciousness is full of Krishna. A person in that is pure in his existence, and consequently he has nothing to do with any work which depends on five immediate and remote causes: the doer, the work, the situation, the endeavor, and the fortune. Like Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Vipodame Sankhya Krutante Praktani Siddheswara Karmanam Adhishtanam Tathakatta Karanam Cha Patakvidam Vidya Cha Patakcheshtaha Daivam Chaivatra Panchamam. Basically, all these things and your karma results. So this is because he is engaged in loving transcendental service of Krishna. So a person in pure, like we talked about before also, we own nothing. Krishna is the one. He has the marginal energy and then the inferior energy and the superior energy. Superior energy is all the living entities and inferior energy is all the Prakriti. Then what are we owing anything? We don't know anything. So that is the Vidya or Maya, thinking that we are the body. That is what the Vidya. And from there, we think that we want to enjoy the enjoy like Krishna, basically, enjoy the bhogas. But a person in the divine consciousness, even though all the indriyas are doing, manashasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. So all the indriyas, whatever it's doing, is aloof from that. It takes a bit of sadhana, but once we get it, that's where the unlimited happiness is. So although he appears to be acting in his body and senses, he is always conscious of his actual position, which is spiritual engagement. In material consciousness, the senses are engaged in sense gratification, but in Krishna consciousness, the senses are engaged in the satisfaction of Krishna's senses. If you really analyze this point, so if you are spiritual, then you are not related to the matter. So the matter is aloof, always aloof from the spirituality. So if your consciousness is matter, then we are engaged in all the sense gratifications. Because for a material person, if there is no sense gratification, then he thinks that it's dead, it's nothing, there is nothing here. So because of the vasanas, the jiva is so engaged, entangled from so many lives after life. So because of the vasanas, even it takes time, and then these vasanas won't leave that much easily. So in order to do that, we have to train ourselves. We have to keep on thinking that we are not the body, we are the soul. And the things are happening because of, again, we back to avidya, kama, karma. Because of avidya, we think we are not the soul. Because of that strong bondage, we are wanting some things, the kama, because our true nature is Satchitananda, and the body is the other way, and we are trying to impose our true nature on the avidya, and that's where we want to Satchitananda. We want to be eternal with the body, and then we want to be knowledgeable, and then we want to enjoy the life. That is what it is happening. So in order to train ourselves, we have to do the bhakti, like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padanam, Sevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. All these processes, either this process or that process, whatever may be, you hold on to it, and then slowly your consciousness will change from matter to the soul. So therefore, Krishna conscious person is always free. If you really say which one is the bondage, the matter is the bondage. To maintain the body, you have to work so hard. Whereas if you are in the soul, in the position of the soul, there is nothing we can do it. We don't need to do anything. So the Krishna consciousness is always free, even though he appears to be engaged in the affairs of senses. Activities such as seeing, hearing, are the actions of senses meant for receiving the knowledge, whereas moving, speaking, evacuating, etc., are actions of the senses meant for work. A Krishna conscious person is never affected by the actions of the senses. He cannot perform any act except in the service of the Lord because he knows that he is the eternal survivor of the Lord. So this is how he kind of like changes his position. That is how he will be acting. So that he always thinks of Krishna, and then whatever he does, everything he relates to it. That is what the Bhakti Yogi does. So the soul is transcended to the body, senses, and the mind, and is the observer to all the actions. Due to ignorance, living entities thinks he is doing, but when he realizes his true nature, then he is no longer entangled. So because of that I and mine syndrome comes. Because of that, the whole thing is entangled. So that is how it is. Until realized his true nature, he should continue to do Bhakti Yoga for purification of the senses, because without realization, and then if I think unnaturally that I'm not doing all these things, then that is not the yukta. That's why Krishna mentioned here yukta and tattvavid, to knowing. Without knowing it, without like Vivek Chudamani says, without even winning the war, you cannot claim as a king. Without even digging the earth and then get the gold mines, you cannot say that I have the gold. So similarly, you have to be in that state and then realize that you are not doing anything. Until that point, there is attachment, and then because of that, you will be surrendering all the results to the Bhagavan. That is part of the Bhakti Yoga, Atma Nivedana. So basically, if you really see the subtle level, it's a transformation of the mind. And from, if the mind is going from Tamoguna to Rajoguna to Sattva Guna, Suddha Sattva, then it won't come back. So like a butter, once you churn the milk, first make from milk to the curd, and then churn the curd and make a butter, then the butter will go back, go back or merge into the milk or anything. So that is how we need to train ourselves and clean up our subtle mind, subtle body. That is where the consciousness will change from matter to the spirituality. So then, once we realize that we are the soul, Atman, then only we will be getting out of the cycle of birth and death, samsara. Until then, keep practicing the spiritual sadhana. So this is how it is. So this is a kind of like a person in the divine consciousness, persons. That is how he will be acting it. So he won't be entangled it. So he's always in Sakshi Bhuta. So whatever we do with eye and mind syndromes, will have an impact on it. That is why in order to do that, we have to machitta, offer everything to Krishna. Offer it all to Krishna. Yat karoshe dashnasi yat juhosi dasyat yat tapashyasi kaunteya tat kurshamadarpam. Like example, Janak Maharaj or so many kings achieved this self-realization, and then after that also they won't be doing nothing. They can do it or they don't need to do it. They can do it or they don't need to do it. But if they do it also, they will do like this. They won't be attached to the results. So if you really see the material world from morning to night, all happening is the indriyas are functioning. If you really see like all these things, right? Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, breathing, evacuating. That's what. Receiving, opening, closing. All these are the senses. 5 karmendriyas and 5 gyanendriyas. All this controlled by the mind, controlled by the buddhi, and then Atman. And all this is happening because of the the prarabdha karmas. And prarabdha karmas because of the, again, avidya, kama, karma. So this is a cycle, it's happening. In order to get out from this cycle, keep on every minute. Remember that we are the Atman. And then this ego, we are not the false ego. We are the real ego. And with that, keep in mind, the false ego, we can get rid of the false ego. Because false ego is the one who is playing all the games. It's a drama. So that is how this sloka is. Again, naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvita pashyan shrunan spashan jigran ashran gachan swapan swachan pralapan visriyan gurnan unmishan nimishan napi indriyani indriyarteshu attantadidarayan. Next sloka is brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam chiktva karoti yaha lipyatena sapapena padmapatra mivambasa. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam chiktva karoti yaha. So that is how the divine consciousness person will act, as explained in the next sloka also. You won't be attached to the matter. So it's a cleanup process. The more you clean up the kama, krodha, lobhas, then the more happier you will be. So slowly and steadily you will be achieving the goal. So you take the bhakti yoga, you take the jnana yoga, whatever it is, just take it seriously. Realizing the truth, tattvavit, what is the real truth about this. And then these stages of life, 3 stages like waking, sleeping, deep sleep, and then all these koshas, all the acharyas explain everything systematically, that what are we, who are we, who am I, Ramana Maharshi's things. So keep on analyzing it, keep on thinking about it. That is how it is. And the famous slokas in the Bhagavad Gita, 2 times it will come, right? Manmanabhava madbhakta madhyajim namaskuru mami vaishyasi yukto evam atmanavat prayanaha manmanabhava madbhakta madhyajim namaskuru mami vaishyasi satyamte pratyane priyosami manmanabhava madbhakta madhyajim namaskuru. So basically Krishna says, always think of me and then devote to me, and then you will achieve me. So that is how it is. Again, sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyah mokshayashyami ma. Another thing also there. So slowly and steadily, if we keep on doing that, then eventually you will get this kind of stage. So this is a great stage. Then in that case, we will be aloof from all the activities of the senses, all the matter. Then slowly that is how you will be relieved from the entanglement of the matter. Otherwise what happens is, like, we are connected to the matter. We think that I am doing it, I am doing this, and this is mine. That is where all the egoistic, the desires will come, the anger will come, then the lobha, kamam, again everything will come. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada. That's why even the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas also, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan. So removing the desire altogether. Because, like if you say Purnamada Purnavidam Purnat Purnamadichyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. So we are always, Purna means full. There is nothing deficiency in our thing. We don't need to have something. We are already Satchitananda. No matter what we do with the body, we are not going to get this Satchitananda thing. We will never be fully happy, and we will never be eternally with the body. So many of our Puranas explain that. So many tried it. Everybody tried it. So you cannot be. You have to leave the body. And then if you really see, we are aloof from the body. Because the body is a thought in the mind. And if you really think about the body, then only you will know about the body. For example, if the body is functioning fine and everything, you don't even look at the body, and then you will be thinking more above the body. But if there is a problem in the body, then you realize, you focus on the body, then you think that you are the body. So if you really see the practically, we are already souls. Because of the avidya, maya, we are entangled. Like Krishna says, Mama Maya Durattaya Mame Ve Pravajyante Maya Metam Tarantate. Always think of him. And the Krishna's Maya is very Duratyaya, very, very difficult. And to cross it over, we need to catch hold of the lotus feet of the Lord. So for that, keep thinking about the Lord. Understand the science, spiritual science. Understand the Krishna consciousness, what the Krishna consciousness means. So the whole Gita, Krishna explained it. How to live in this world, the Karma Yoga. And then what should be your goal? Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything he explained it. We are not the body. The gunas are happening. And then that's how the entire material manifested. And then the Bhagavan is there. And then we are the Jivatma. That is the Dvaita, Advaita school. Advaita schools are different. But whatever it may be, keep on, what is that, cleaning up the mind, the desire. So one of the things is like, take the Lord's name and keep on chanting the Lord's name systematically. Then that will clean up the, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Marjanam, Marjavam, Mahadava, Davam, Sishtastakam says, right? This Krishna mantra is so purifying that it will clean up the subtle body. Then eventually, because without the cleanup, you won't realize it. You won't realize the Atman. Because once it is contaminated, you won't realize it. So that's why even if you have a tinge of the material material desire, you won't be realizing the true nature of your true soul nature. This is a really great science, as Vivek Chodamani, Shankaracharya also explains that the goal of the life, human birth, should be try to realize yourself, get going, and then try to follow the instructions of the Guru. Try to do as much as you can, and this is the only thing we can do it, because even in the Bhagavatam, Rishabhadeva says, the 5th canto, to enjoy with the senses, you don't need to have the body of the human. The animal bodies even are more powerful to satisfy the senses of the sense gratification. You don't need to have the human body. But human body is given so that this is the only opportunity to think about yourselves and then realize yourselves. The rest of the things, the money and the bhogas or the kamas, if you really see, there is no limit to that, and we won't be getting any happiness out of that. The real unlimited happiness of Satchitananda, the soul, realization of the soul, is no way compared with the material happiness, the sense gratification happiness, Ardha Dharma, Ardha Kama Bhavas, Dharma, Ardha Kama, Moksha. So strive for moksha, realize the nature, slowly and steadily keep going every single day. Keep on working towards that goal. Then you yourself realize the happiness. Because otherwise the sense gratifications are always very miserable. After a certain age, we will realize that when the tooth is gone, that's where we realize that, oh, the whole sense gratification out of the food and the taste and everything is gone in a minute. Same thing with the eyes, same thing with the ears. At one point of stage in the life, you cannot use any of the indriyas and you are on your own world. Then in that case, if you did not clean up the body, clean up the subtle body in this engage, then at that time it is very hard to control the mind. So work very hard, keep following the instructions of the Bhagavan, and keep chanting, and then keep taking the Lord's name, keep following the Gurus, and then work towards it very seriously. So slowly make the material life comfortable a little bit, and then don't focus more on that. Try to increase the sadhana in the spiritual life. So eventually you will have more time in the spiritual, spend more time here. Slowly the material entanglements, the time for that will be slowly decreasing it. Then eventually you increase the spirituality, and then keep thinking about that. That's where you will achieve the goal. So ultimately, like Shankaracharya says, Chintonam narajanma durlabha matah pumstam tato viprata तस्माद् वैदिकधर्ममार्गपरता विद्वत्तमस्मात् परम् आत्मानात्मविवेचनं स्वनुभवो ब्रह्मात्मना संस्तुतिः मुक्तिर्नो शतकोटिजन्मसु कृतैः पुण्यैर्विना लभ्यते. Just to think that or work towards realizing the goal is like a muktir kotem. So crores and lives of punyas. Because of that only you will be attracted towards the spirituality. So let's all keep working together, and then hopefully Krishna and Guru will bless us. Hare Krishna. Krishna Bhagavan.